Tottenham TV here, back again with another post-match live stream for you guys. It is Christmas Eve, or on the eve of Christmas tomorrow, and Spurs are going to be spending Christmas in the top four thanks to a 2-1 victory yesterday at home to Everton. It wasn't pretty. It was definitely a very stressful game to watch. It was one where we're all probably on the edge of our seats hoping we cling on for the result, and thankfully we did do that yesterday. We did cling on. We got the 3 points. That's all that matters. Joining me on today's stream is the always brilliant, the never too emotional, the always level-headed, the fantastic Brian Daigle is in the house. Big up to you, Brian. How are we doing?
Mate, you've been on the Christmas sherry already. I hope you get an Uber home. I think we've had a wardrobe malfunction today, as great minds think alike.
Look at that. Come on.
All I will say is, thankfully, you broke the uncle curse today, because my sister had 5 kids. And one was a set of twins and hadn't won a single game the game after they were born, and you've gone and smashed that at the first attempt, so it's fantastic.
Absolutely right. And look, it's been a very good weekend when it comes to results for Tottenham so far. I think everyone around us, obviously City didn't play, everyone around us dropping points, United losing, Arsenal, Liverpool drawing, Newcastle lost to Luton, and currently as we speak, Chelsea are 1 down, although Jackson is through on goal and he's screwed it up. So Agent Poch at it again at the moment at the Molineux. So we'll keep you updated with any goals that do go in that game as well. It is currently Wolves 1, Chelsea 0. Mario Lemina just putting them ahead a minute ago. But look, we are here to talk about Tottenham. We are here to talk about what happened yesterday and break everything down. So we'll get on with it. We'll start with a match review of the game yesterday. And yeah, look, it was definitely a stressful game to watch. It was definitely a game where Everton coming into this game, 6 wins out of 8, coming into this in really good form and with a lot of confidence. I think we saw that yesterday, didn't we? Even, to be fair, a lot of people saying how we started the game really well, obviously going 2-0 up and we did play some really good football. The 2 goals we did score were actually pretty good team moves on Tottenham's part. But even at 2-0, I didn't feel like we were massively on top and like blowing them away. We just put some good moves together. We took our chances early on. Obviously, the first goal was a brilliant team move, like classic Ange. It was a classic Ange goal, I felt, the opening goal from Richarlison. Really great build-up play on the right-hand side between Porro and Sarr and Kulusevski. Sarr ends up playing a really good through ball. Great dummy from Kulu to allow Brendan Johnson on the right, getting in on the right-hand side. Some really good space. Brilliant cutback and a great finish from Rishi. Really good movement. And look, he's got the Midas touch at the moment, doesn't he, Rishi? Scoring against his old club. Yep. 4 goals in 3 and really good finish from him. So that was a good start, but Everton were by no means on the back foot for the first half, 20 minutes, even though we went 1-0 up, were they?
Well, you look at it, we said in the preview that we need to come out fast, and it depends how Everton start, if they sit back and allow us or they try and match us. We started off like a house on fire. We really looked like one of those games where Spurs were up for it, Spurs were on it, and Spurs were going to run riot. And when we saw that first goal, which was a beautifully crafted goal, it looked that way. And then Everton started getting more and more into it. And in the end of the first half, I think everyone was just praying the ref blew the whistle. We lost a lot of composure towards the end of that half. But it looked, like I heard you in the instant match review you did at the stadium, some of the moves and the passing and the flicks from the centre of the pitch and the movement of Tottenham was a wonderful thing to see yesterday. And you thought this was going to be like another Newcastle performance. But Everton really gave a lot of determination, a lot of grit, and we made that a lot harder than it could have been. Or should have been, should I say.
Well, look, I think that's probably harder than it should have been, but Everton are a very good side. I think they proved that yesterday for sure in how they came back into the game. Obviously, it was a brilliant team move for the first goal, as I said, and then just to talk about that first goal as well. I just think that position for Johnson just proves what Ange really wants from his wingers. Just that pace in behind, brilliant cutback as well, first time ball, and then a classic striker's finish from Richarlison. And that's it. I think that if I remember Conte talking about there was one goal. Last or a couple of seasons ago where like Sessegnon plays it to Doherty and we scored, and Conte after the game said, you know, when that's happening, that's like a staple of like a Conte team, like how he likes to see his team plays. I reckon if you asked Ange yesterday with that goal, that was like a staple of like how Ange wants his team to set up and how he wants to get goals. Like very quick movement, really good build-up play, and then the wingers playing a very accurate, quick pass into the striker and scoring. That was after the 9th minute. After then, look, Everton had even after that moment had a chance or two. Calvert-Lewin has a header forced to save out of Vicario to keep the score at 1-0. Then Spurs took a quick corner, took advantage again. Look, good build, good move from the corner, good routine. Kulusevski again involved. I think Johnson plays it to him. He plays a lovely through ball back to Johnson. His shot is saved, and then Son is able to bury the rebound. And we were 2-0 up, but it did feel like we didn't have to work too hard for that 2-0. It wasn't like we were having chance after chance. It seemed like a matter of time before we got the second goal. It did kind of look. We just made the most of the chance we created, so we did make it 2-0. Son getting his 11th goal of the season, and then I agree. Pretty much after that 20th minute, Everton were on top, to be honest, and they were really putting us under a lot of pressure. I think the end of that first half, we were a bit sloppy. We definitely allowed them back into the game. They were very much physically putting us under a lot of pressure. And obviously they did get that goal near the end of the first half, but luckily for us, VAR steps in and rules that Emerson was fouled. What did you make of that VAR decision? Because Sean Dyche after the game has had a lot of complaints about that specific decision, saying that, you know, that sometimes in those cases where, yes, it probably was a foul, but should VAR be getting involved in that situation? Is that a clear and obvious error? I think as Spurs fans, we can agree Emerson was definitely fouled in that situation. I think he gets a knee. I think he gets kneed in the thigh and gets brought down by Andre Gomez. But if you're an Everton fan, if you put your Everton cap on, are you a bit frustrated that VAR is coming back when maybe it's not a complete clear and obvious error?
So where I was with that goal yesterday, when it went in yesterday, when they started replaying it, I thought that VAR was going to keep it as a goal. I really thought it was as soft as they come, especially again when you look at what happened with the Wolves West Ham elbow and nothing. I really thought it was soft. But then when I was doing anger management earlier this morning, someone said if Destiny Doggies was a yellow card for nothing against Forest last week, then that's a foul. And you look back at it, I've looked at it again, there is contact. I just think it's really, really soft. And this is where the game's gone now. That a little tackle like that, it was a lot of pressure being put on him. They went hunting for that moment, didn't they, Everton? They were setting their stall out for that. They did it, and it was a warning shot. And upon looking back on it, I now agree that I can see why it was disallowed, but I think it's so very, very soft.
I think the right decision would have been for the referee to disallow it. But I think, in my opinion, given the fact that the referee felt like it was a fair challenge at the time, I just don't think it's clear enough for that to be given. Although I always come back to it. You go back to right at the beginning of the season and that penalty that Son was given away against Brentford. And I just felt that, you know, on the first day, and that was such a soft penalty, I felt, yet the VAR got involved and decided to call that back as a penalty. And I always felt if VAR are going to start calling those decisions back and get, you know, those like kind of close calls and give those decisions, then to show consistency, they're going to have to get involved in a lot of other tight decisions. And based on that, I think if they're going to show consistency, they have to call that back and give it a foul and rule the goal out. But I just feel like if in a perfect world, if I'm looking like the perfect VAR threshold for me, I don't want VAR to be getting involved in that. I don't think VAR should be calling those things back. I think it should be like for like serious fouls, like clear and obvious fouls. I think it is a foul. I think if the referee blows up, I don't think Everton can have any complaints about a foul being given in that situation. I just feel like they can have a bit of grievance that VAR, you know, came back and looked at it and gave it a foul. They can be a bit frustrated with that. So, look, we got away with that one a bit. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin with a brilliant finish. Everton really did end the half strongly, and I think they probably should have probably deserved to go into that half, probably at 2-1 at least, but it was 2-0. I felt like as well when Andre Gomez did get introduced into the game, it was when was it? It was in the midway through the first half. It was for Andre Drissagay. I thought he had a brilliant game, Andre Gomez, when he came on. He was outstanding, and he really I've been a big fan of Andre Gomez, to be honest. I actually thought he was a very underrated midfielder, and I thought yesterday he was really giving us a lot of trouble. Second half, it was pretty much one-way traffic for a lot of that game. It was weird to watch, like Tottenham in that second half, kind of on the back foot for a lot of it. Yeah, we did have a few chances. I think Papo Matasar forced a save out of Pickford, and Kulusevski on the breakaway as well did force a really good save on that occasion out of Jordan Pickford, and that would have really sealed the game. But apart from that, it was really Everton piling on the pressure for a lot of that half and putting us under a lot of pressure. Obviously, Romero went off at half-time and Eric Dyer comes on. And at that point as well, you know, off the back of a really dodgy end to that first half, Dyer comes on and you're thinking, wow, we're going to be under a lot of pressure in this second half. And I thought he did okay. I didn't think he was marvellous. I thought there was... What I would say about having Dyer and Davis in those situations is, you think about, for example, that Danjuma moment in the second half where we're going forward and we get sprung on. McNeil plays a very quick pass out to Danjuma, and he finds himself in all kinds of space, and Dyer has to race across to close him down. And I just feel like, and obviously he gets a shot off. Vicario gets a brilliant save, a one-handed save out of him. And I get the feeling in those kind of situations, like if you have a Van de Ven or a Romero there, those situations get much easily dealt with, and those situations are probably don't lead to big chances. But when you have Dyer and Davis in those situations, it just makes it a lot harder to deal with, doesn't it? And Everton had those moments yesterday with Danjuma and Harrison, and I think Garner as well. He had a moment where his shot clipped the post. And Everton were finding themselves getting all sorts of joy, springing on us and forcing those situations. And it was really only a matter of time, it felt, before they got back in the game at that moment.
So there was one of my friends brought an Everton fan to the Scotland Yard who lives out here now. And when I saw that substitution being made, I turned around and said to him, I've got more confidence of you putting it back to 2-2 now than us making it 3-0. Not just because Dyer was on the pitch, you could see, I don't know, the way it came across from what we could hear in the atmosphere in the stadium, it looked like the whole stadium got a bit more apprehensive, knowing there was Dyer and Davies at the back. I think it clearly shows that Romero and Van de Ven, without one of them there, let alone two, it disrupts that. And it would do that to any team, so not just Spurs, not having your two main central defenders in there. It was a big problem. It was a big, big problem. Everyone dropped deeper. Everyone lacked a bit of confidence going forward. Dyer did a few things well, but like you said, that Danjuma one, there was a gaping hole in that defence when we were trying to push up. And it was that space. And that is Eric Dyer's area. And that's, unfortunately, in this hand system, the risky run we're playing him. He's just not up to par of this system. And it was very, very worrying. We just looked so much more nervous, so much more apprehensive. And that's what's going to happen. I think it just shows how vital it is that a defender is in this football club before we play Burnley.
Yeah, and I'm not. This isn't even to say like I thought Dyer was bad yesterday or anything. I think he actually did okay when he came on. Like he performed pretty well. I thought like he made some crucial tackles at times. But what it just did do having Dyer there, it just gave them a weakness to aim at, a weakness to exploit, and they did go for it. Every time they had a quick transition, they quickly switched the play to I think Danjuma came on and he was really stretching the play on that side, and it just gave them someone to aim at, someone to run at, and I think he actually held pretty firm, but it's not a situation I would like to see continue. Essentially, where like on that front, you just saw like when you have Dyer there and you're playing this high line, as you say, it just gives them a weakness to aim for, and they did try, and on another day they could have exploited it, and maybe a better team going forward maybe would have exploited that situation. Luckily for us, they didn't maybe exploit it as much as they could have, but definitely it was there to be exploited, and that's my point. I don't think Dyer came on and had a shocker or anything. I actually thought, as I say, he did pretty well when he came on. This isn't to pile on Dyer, but it was clear that having Dyer there was a problem, like for the team in terms of the functioning of the team.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, without Destiny doing the attacking part on the left-hand side, you have Porro going up on the right. So that right-hand side, because you have Porro trying to do what Destiny and Porro do to try and be that attacking outlet, it just left that right completely exposed. And it was where it was like pin the tail on the donkey of where the danger zone was. And it was, unfortunately, in the second half, that right-hand side of our defence. But that's what happens when you play Ange's system. And you haven't got the Ange players to play it. So Dyer came in and did what he could do, but he's not an Ange type player. We know this. And he was asked to put a shift in. Was it good enough? No. Did we expect any different? No. Let's just hope Romero is fit for Brighton.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there, but your I think some lighting just went red for you. So it was quite funny as you. It was just quite funny. It was like it seemed as though as you were like going on a bit of a rant, like you were getting angry, and it just turned red. It's like here we go. I was I'm not sure it's the lighting. I'm not sure it's the lighting in it, or like you've just turned red out of anger of the situation. I don't know, but it's quite funny.
Maybe out of frustration because I've got one light on and no other lights. So how it's happened all of a sudden, it might be rampage.
But look, let's talk about one player who definitely did stand out yesterday and probably got us 3 points, and that is the goalkeeper, Guillermo Vicario, because even, throughout the game, he just had to make a series of saves yesterday. In fact, he made 7 saves on the day, which is the most saves he's made in any game this season. And obviously, he made some unbelievable saves at that as well. First half, he made a brilliant save from a Calvert-Lewin header, a decent save from Joe Garner from the edge of the area as well. But second half is really up where he earned his money. Did some really good stuff, I felt, from corners, just getting some crucial punches where Everton were definitely threatening to score from a few of those corners. I think they had one cleared off the line, didn't they, from Tarkowski, and they were really threatening. And then obviously the two biggest moments were his saves from Dan Juma, the one where the left-footed shot, which looked like it was heading for the top corner, forced an unbelievable one-handed save from Vicario. And then whether it be luck or quick reflexes, you be the judge, but that chance right at the end where a really great ball from McNeil to the back post, Dan Juma's running in. The flag actually did go up for offside, but on replays it did show that Dan Juma was clearly onside for that moment, so it would have counted if it did go in. Dan Juma's shot crashes off the crossbar, and it is going in if it wasn't for a crucial knee off of Vicario to just about stop the ball going over the line and saving us 3 points at that moment. And watching it back, look, it does look, mate, you could argue maybe it was a bit of luck, but Vicario's leg does move just in a way to stop the ball going into the back of the net, and it was an unbelievable reflex save at the end of the day to win us the 3 points. And it was just another display of Vicario this season. He has just been absolutely outstanding in pretty much every game this season, hasn't he? And probably yesterday was maybe his best yet when it comes to being a match winner for us.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this keeper, I've been saying pound for pound the best signing in Europe for value, I think, in world football for this summer. 17 million for what we've got is an incredible bit of business by the club, by Paratici, by everyone. This guy is absolutely outstanding. I went nuts on We Are Tottenham TV, funnily enough, when the Raya deal collapsed before this guy was mentioned. This guy is sensational. He is absolutely incredible. We have struck gold. You look at how many teams try and find a replacement for their keeper that's been a huge player for them over the years, whether it be Schmeichel, Van der Sar, De Gea at United now, Arsenal when they lost Seaman or Lehmann, Liverpool when they've lost goalkeepers. To find one at the first time of asking is just incredible from the club. But that save at the end, they say some people make their own luck, and if anyone deserves a slice of luck for their performances, whether that was a slice of luck or his quick reflexes, like you said, to get a leg there, we'll never know. But boy, does he deserve it. That save from Dan Juma kind of reminded me of the one he made against Silva against Man City, where it looks like he's destined for that top corner, and somehow his agility to get there, he was absolutely magnificent. You look at people that said Schmeichel gained you like 12, 15 points a season and helped them win the league. Well, if we do get top four, which I think we will, he is a major, major attribute to it, or contributor, should I say. He has been absolutely magnificent. Even the commentary that we had here, and I can't remember who the co-commentator said, was, apart from Alisson, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, this season it's hard to. I mean, on form, it's hard to disagree with that. And you consider how much we spent on him; it was about £17 million, and you look at some of the prices that goalkeepers have gone for, even this summer. You know, you look at Chelsea signing Robert Sanchez for 25 million. You look at Onana, who went to Man United for what, 45 million. Some big prices for goalkeepers who haven't even performed half as good as Vicario has for that kind of price. So it's been an unbelievable piece of business. And yesterday, he really did win us the game. And sometimes you need, look, Spurs have played some brilliant football, and we've had games this season where we've blown teams away and, you know, dominated the ball. Yesterday wasn't one of those games. I definitely did think we struggled to, especially in that second half, just to keep the ball in their final third. We struggled to really play in their half, I felt like, in that second half. You know, the ball just kept coming back, and they were just, the turnovers were just relentless from Everton. They were so aggressive. And sometimes you need, you know, what happens with good teams is, you have those moments of quality, which we showed in that first half, and then sometimes you're on the back foot on occasion, and you need your keeper to bail you out, and you need to have a good keeper on the day, and that's what happened yesterday. Our keeper won us the game. He showed his quality, and you just got to give him all the credit, because I thought it was an astounding display. Another player who I actually felt maybe goes under the radar in terms of doing his job was Emerson Royale, I felt, actually, yesterday. And yes, maybe as a fullback in Ange's system, you want a bit more from him going forward, and you want him to do what Udogie does and get into those attacking positions. But, you know, I thought defensively he was actually really strong, and I thought he actually put in a really top performance. I thought he was, in terms of in our back line, he was one of our better players yesterday. And playing in an unfamiliar position, obviously at left back, playing that inverted fullback role, obviously it doesn't really suit him, I feel, when he's like trying to go forward and support the attack. But I thought defensively yesterday, I thought he had, the stats show he had 8 interceptions, which is a record for a Tottenham player this season in a single game. He won 12 of his 14 ground duels as well, made 5 clearances. So I really felt, if I'm looking at the back line, he was probably the pick of the bunch yesterday in terms of defensive performance.
Yeah, I mean, listen, with Emerson, there's the stats and the eye test, isn't there? And a lot of people go with the eyes and are quick to criticise him. What I will say about Emerson Royale, since he's been here, we bought him as a right back and then asked him to play right wing back. Then he played right wing back. He's been centre back, and now we're asking him to play left back. And we are so used to seeing what Destiny provides us and what Destiny does. And Emerson is not that player. He's the exact opposite. He won't rampage forward. He won't have an influence attacking wise. He won't be a powerhouse. He does what he does. I think in the second half, he got a little bit sloppy after the disallowed goal decision. I think it might have rocked him a little bit, but his first half performance was a good one. And listen, we're short on players. We're putting square pegs in round holes, and he got the job done. This is how threadbare we are at the moment.
Yeah, 100%, and that's reality. You know, got so many players missing, and crucial players as well in terms of how they fit in. And we might have lost another one as well with Romero. We have to wait and see how bad his injury is. Hopefully, it's not too bad. Luckily, we have we play the latest of all the teams, I think, on Thursday next week. So maybe that gives them a chance to be fit. We'll have to wait and see. But if you're Ange and you're reviewing, the game yesterday, do you feel like he'll be more like delighted with the fact that, with all the problems we had and the players missing, we were resolute. We found those moments of quality when we needed them, and we ended up grinding out that 2-1 victory. And do you reckon he'll be delighted with that, or do you think he'll be a bit concerned with how we allowed Everton to control that game for the majority of it, and he wouldn't have liked the kind of performance that he saw out there?
I think it's very, very 50-50, Sim. I really do. As you were saying it, you look at it, and Everton should have taken their chances, or should have at least done better and made Vicario work a little bit more with some of the chances they had. But they didn't take it. We grounded out a result. I must admit, once they scored, made it 2-1. If you thought there was going to be one more goal in this game, I think you knew that you had a feeling it would be from them as opposed to us. Some of that, like I put a tweet out at half time saying some of the football in that half breathtaking, some of the football in that half very concerning. And that's where he is. There's just lapses of concentration. Maybe that's personnel. Maybe even though he's been well off form, it shows how important Basuma is in these type of games. Even though he has been off form, even at Bentancur, we were missing that yesterday. I do think Pape Matar has gone well under the radar again. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. But yeah, I think when we go back to what Ange would have thought, we've seen what he says. He's here to win football matches. Yeah, he said, I'm not just here to entertain, I'm here to win football matches. And he won a football match. So I think overall he's going to be more pleased than annoyed. But there will be those little things that are irking him, won't there?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think in general, I think considering the circumstances, considering the players' minutes, and considering as well playing a good Everton team, let's be honest, who have been very consistent over the last 8 games, six wins out of 8. Like you can't take a win against them for granted, even if it was a struggle. Like in their current form, they're coming into this, playing very, very well. So I think in general, considering the goals we scored, really good footballing moves and stuff like that, and the circumstances with the injuries, and we had a lot of problems going into it. I think he will be delighted with the fact we were resolute and we did end up grinding up the 3 points, and that's what matters at the end of the day. But I definitely think he will be a bit concerned by how we allowed Everton to control that game for such large periods, and not only just allowed them to control it, but the chances we did end up conceding that one from Danjuma right at the end, and the one they had off the line and things like that, and they did have a goal ruled out from VAR, which on another day might have been given. I think he'll probably look at that, think there's definitely a lot to improve on, and there's definitely lots to look back on and think there are things we need to really work on if we're going to grow as a team. But I think he'll also be thinking that a lot of these players, won't be playing in his first choice 11. A lot of these players who were probably problematic in this game aren't going to be hopefully long-term problems for this team if we can get a lot of our first team back, and those problems will be solved. So I think he'll just be delighted that through this tough period with all these injuries, he was able to get the win on the board where a lot of other managers in these circumstances probably wouldn't have. So I definitely think it was more positive than negative, but the performance level probably wasn't where it should be at, given how we've played for a lot of this season. So look, we take the 3 points, we're in top 4 going into Christmas, and it's just absolutely bonkers to think about that, given the situations we've been in and the circumstance we've had over the last couple months, that we sit 4 points off top of the league after 18 games is astonishing, considering we went 5 games without a win, 4 losses in 5. I think that's testament as well to what an amazing start to the season we did have, and how amazing we did look for those first 10 games. And obviously now 3 wins on the trot as well. And just all the circumstances he's had. Kane leaving, the club was in a bit of a mess right at the beginning of the season as well. And to sit here after, if I told you that after 18 games we're going to be 4 points off the top of the league, you'd have been like, "What are you smoking? What are you chatting about?" This season was supposed to be a massive season of struggle, and obviously we have had our challenges, and there has been struggles, but we sit 18 games, 4 points off the top, and to think we're going to have all these players back hopefully mid-Jan or in February. If we can keep like a decent distance between us and the top 3 come February. What is possible at this point, considering we've shown, at this point, can we not say we've shown a fairly good level of consistency in terms of performance level?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think what we were thinking is the little blip we had after 10 games or the 11th game when we lost, I think everyone was expecting that at the start, weren't they? They were like, okay, it's going to take him a few games, and then once he's got it figured, like Poch did in his first season, where up until Christmas, then we started picking up. We started off like such a track. We were literally just going down this track, absolutely firing down it. And then the blip came, the injuries. Like I said, Kane gone, the injuries, the suspensions. And do you know what I'm liking right now in this little run? There's been time and time again where results have gone our way and we haven't taken advantage of it. Obviously, we weren't to know the Liverpool Arsenal game because that was after us, and Newcastle were playing at the same. But it was situations like this where results had gone our way and we didn't take advantage of it, and we have. And like you said, to be top four, 4 points off the top, at this time of year with the injuries yet to come back. This kind of reminds me, kind of like, do you remember when we were second in the league and we ended up getting Nelson and we are in a prime position. I still don't think we'll win the league, but are we in this race at the moment? Technically, yes, we are. Point-wise and the way it looks. Do I think we'll sustain it? Unfortunately, I don't, but it won't be for the want of trying. But right now, we are night and day ahead of where I thought we'd be.
But to be fair, Brian, if like in terms of like a title challenge, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to win the league, but if a club in a if a Liverpool are, I mean, I know Liverpool and Arsenal are above us and stuff like that, but other clubs who are playing the way we're playing at the moment, as consistently as we're playing, and especially with all the injuries stuff, like I don't think another team, maybe with a different name, will be so quickly written off a title challenge as we are. I just feel like because we're Tottenham, we're not expected to do anything this season. Obviously, we're being kind of chalked off, but. I think you just have to give credit to because even with these injuries, we're still playing some really good football, aren't we? And I think that just goes to show the management of Ange that even with a lot of players missing, like you have other managers like Ten Hag and other managers who are constantly making excuses for why they can't play the football that they want to play. Yeah, Ange has all these players missing, has all these suspensions as well. Yeah, he just gets on with it. The team still plays some brilliant football in every game. Even in games like yesterday where we struggled, we're still enough moments where we're playing some really nice football and playing some really nice moves together. And I just think like we're showing a remarkable level of consistency and performance level. Like even in that winless run, we had some really good performances there where games where we were really unlucky to lose as well in those games. So like I just think I don't think we get enough credit, I feel like, for the performance level of consistent performance level that we have been showing this season. And I know it's only halfway through and maybe it all come crashing down again in the second half of the season. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm just so proud, shocked, and impressed with how we've performed in this first half of the season, to be honest. So I think we deserve a lot of credit for how it's gone in this first half of the season.
You're right. I mean, proud, shocked, and impressed. If someone was to say summarise in three words, I think you've just hit the hammer on the head. So you look at it. Our last three managers, we've had a manager that said he'll make us proud, did nothing but the opposite. And then we had two very defensive managers that could not get a tune out of the players that Andrew's got. And he said, as he said famously to James Maddison, sign or not, you're going to see a completely different Tottenham Hotspur. And my God, have we? My God, have we? Even like you said, with the players that cannot or you didn't think fit the system, they're managing to play in it. There seems to be a buzz around the players in the ground. You won't hear a bad word said about the manager within the training ground. There's no training ground noise or nonsense that people are getting treated unfairly or whatever it may be. I can't think of a manager that's come in and turned the club round so quickly. With limited, like what he's done, had to deal with, like you said, losing your star asset, your talisman, your record goal scorer, the injuries and suspensions, having four players come in, and I include Destiny as a new signing, Vicario, Van der Ven, Maddison, settling in straight away. I think he's been absolutely outstanding, and you even hear the rival fans saying that they love listening to Ange or watching Ange. To go from the most boring team in the league to the most exciting is an incredible feat of achievement, especially when you look at the Liverpools, the Man Cities of this world.
Yeah, and if he wanted, an excuse for why it isn't going well, there were enough excuses there, aren't there, for him to make, and there would have been justified excuses, in my opinion, if things weren't going as well as they could have. There are definitely enough excuses there for Ange to point to say this is the reason. Look at Chelsea are using every excuse under the sun. Same with Man United, this, that, and the other, and yet we seem to be getting on with it and just getting the points on the board, getting the performance level as high as it is. So look, I just can't compliment Ange enough at the moment with how things have gone, and I think the position in the league we are in is absolutely fantastic. But that is the match review.